Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital recap for Thursday, August 19th. First off, I want to start off with the God PDF. I've mentioned this a couple times on this channel, but I had hardly any subscribers. So now that we just broke 2,000, I want to give you guys some insight into how the markets work. This PDF is called the God PDF, Game of Deception. And we're going to run through it here real quick to show you guys how the markets are manipulated. This was written by a gentleman who claims to have orchestrated the Dogecoin pump. Whether this is true or not, I do believe it is true, but whether it's true or not, this is how the markets work. I've been in this game for about 10 years now, and I've seen it all, and what he's saying is very accurate. So go ahead, we'll dive through this here real quick. Basically starts out saying that the majority believe that the markets move randomly and reflect the collective wisdom of investors, and the truth is quite the opposite. The invisible hand is a myth. Market prices have always been manipulated by the government's visible hands through influencing laws and regulation. Insiders control markets and manipulate them up or down for profit. Says manipulation is everywhere, undeniable, and unavoidable. It happens on a very large scale throughout every single financial markets out there: stocks, bonds, commodities, currencies, and so forth. And there are other types of manipulation, such as social and news manipulation. Hence, I called it the game of deception. So I don't care what cryptocurrency you're in, whatever it is that you're invested in will drop by 90% plus. That's just how these markets work. I don't care how good the project is. I don't care who's behind it or who's linked to it. You will suffer 90% corrections. That's just how these cycles work. You got about a 4-year cycle. You're going to have about a year or two of a bull market, and then you're going to have about a year to a year and a half of retracements, basically 90% off the previous all-time high. That is how this stuff happens, and it is ran by the people that are very, very wealthy. Hence the Cubans and the Musks that come out and talk about their dog shit coins. So as we go through this here, you can see that there's a couple different aspects to orchestrating these pumps. And so you have position building, suppressing prices, a test pump, the actual pump, the shakeouts, then you have reallocation and distribution, and then exiting the dump. And so he goes in, I'm going to link this article below here, but he talks about position building, different ways to build up the positions, and then suppressing prices, basically manipulating it down even further than they bought in at, because really the loss is just on paper at that point, to really squeeze and get as much of the market share as they can back from the actual holders of the asset. And then they have the test pump, which is exactly what it sounds like before the real pump, and then the actual pump, and then they go back into reallocation and distribution, and then how they actually exit during the dump. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll actually go ahead and pump up the asset, and they'll actually be exiting during the pump itself, where they'll actually be setting their buy and sell walls and buying into it and buying into it until the rest of the public catches on. Hence the SNL massive dump that took place during Dogecoin. Same exact thing. So exiting during a pump. All of this information is out there, and it's pretty interesting if you guys want to read through it. But this is how it works. So when you see these celebrities come out here and they're talking about these assets, they've already set their positions well in advance. You're probably talking at least months, if not years in some cases, as I feel like we're probably seeing with the dog shit pump going on by Cuban and Musk here. These guys have definitely been setting their prices and setting their entry points way before Dogecoin ever made mainstream news, way before the porn stars started pumping it up, and way before they started releasing how awesome they thought it was after, a 70,000% increase here. So when you go ahead and you see Mark Cuban revealing how much Dogecoin he actually owns, and he says it's $494, you have to understand that that's bullshit. And if you actually believe that he only owns $500 in Dogecoin, get off this channel. You're not smart. This is for contrarians. This is for people who oppose and reject popular opinion. He says that I don't pump anything other than Mavs merch. Okay, all this dude has to do is literally tweet 8 words and he can make tens of millions of dollars. You think this guy really only owns $494 worth of dog shit coin? Why do you think these billionaires team up and are pumping this stuff up? It's to make profit. That's the only reason they do this in the first place. As mentioned yesterday, even billionaire Mark Cuban is feeling the heat of the crypto crash. Really? Really? He was feeling the heat of the crypto crash after his Titan pump, and then he said he got hit like everyone else. And the crazy part is that he got out basically admitting to pumping and dumping this coin up and getting out before he actually got hit. Absolutely insane. So you guys got to use your heads. Know that the assets that you're going to be invested in, there's only a short window of time to be taking profit. Very short window of time. Go to the doggy coin charts here. 73,000% gain. How much gas do you really think is left in the tank here? What, maybe it goes up another 4 or 5x, maybe. This was most likely the top here. I can't say for sure, but I can say for sure that you're not going to be hitting $10 doggy coin, but you will be hitting crazy gains in some of these other assets like we talked about yesterday. XDC, Algo just broke a buck here, and a handful of other assets that are going to do extremely well that actually have real utility. So very, very important you guys understand how these markets are played. I do recommend reading through the God PDF. It's very, very interesting and kind of gives you guys some insight into how these markets work, especially if you're new to the game. You guys can really pull some solid info out of that and apply it to your trading strategies. Next up, Wells Fargo launches passive Bitcoin fund for wealthy clients. Wells Fargo is coming out now in 2021, now offering a Bitcoin fund when they're part of the 9 banks that actually orchestrated R3 and the core to blockchain. So, these banks are now coming out saying that, they're going to be offering this stuff to their clients. JP Morgan as well is also coming out when we know that Jamie Dimon has been manipulating and rigging markets, especially the silver markets, forever. And then also saying that he'd fire any trader who was trading Bitcoin a couple years ago. And now they're offering it to their clients. Guys got to have the contrarian mindset and realize that these very, very wealthy CEOs and these banks are playing the public. But if you know what to look out for, you can ride their coattails and make an absolute killing. So while everybody was getting scared when Jamie Dimon was talking about firing anybody who traded Bitcoin, that was probably a buy the dip moment. And that's what you guys need to be looking for, is buying the dips, especially where we're at in this cycle right now. Buying the dips is going to be crucial. You can make an absolute killing. We are in a bull market. You don't want to be trying to time tops and bottoms, but you can get things at discounted rates. You guys are unsure of how to get all that stuff, sign up for the newsletter. There's a link in the description below. We've talked about a lot of these assets that have gone up like crazy. Telcoin in particular, it's gone up like mad, and we're going to get into Telcoin here in just a second. There's some news that was released that I thought was pretty interesting that you guys should know about. So next up, we got Coinbase amasses a $4 billion war chest so it can outlast crypto winter. Going back to my point before, a lot of these assets will suffer 90% plus corrections during the next bear market. And Coinbase is talking about stocking up on their cash reserves. It says we want to ensure that we maintain those cash reserves so that we can continue to invest and continue to grow our products and services in the event that we go into a crypto winter. There is a crypto winter that will be around the corner once we have some massive parabolic price increases. It happens time and time again. Anybody talking about these super cycles would not buy into that. This time is not going to be any different. I don't care what asset it's in. We love XRP, XDC, Algo, all these assets. But if they go up, let's say XRP goes up to $500, guarantee it's going to be back below $100. Guaranteed. I don't care what price it's at. Even if it goes to $100, it'll be back under $10 during the next cycle. So be aware of that. There is going to be a very, very short window to pull profits. And I actually wouldn't mind going ahead and taking a look here. If you want to go over to XRP, for instance, and let's just go back to see what kind of window you're looking at to pull profits after it goes parabolic. Go back to 2018 here. This chart in particular does not go back as far as I would like, but it doesn't matter. This is on the weekly charts, and I can already tell you right now, guess what? You had about a full month. Crazy price increase, 1,500% from the bottom of that candle. So 15x your money, and guess what? You only had about 4 weeks to pull it out and take profits. It's not a lot of time. So we'll probably end up getting a couple weeks of parabolic runs here where we get, one nice push up here. Who knows, let's say $10 to $12. I've seen that number being thrown around quite a bit. You maybe have 10 to 12 bucks, and then you'll have consolidation for who knows how long, maybe several months. And then we'll have that one final blow off top. So, XRP could hit 30, 40, $50. But that window of time to take profit is going to be very, very small compared to the amount of time that you're going to be sitting through a bear market. If we go back to 2018 here and just take a look, you can see that you're sitting through here for 812 days before we start to climb out of here. You're looking at almost 2 years. So you guys need to make sure you're pulling profits. Sign up for the newsletter. Like I said, we do have exit strategies in place for a lot of these assets where we go ahead and set our price targets and make sure that we're continually taking profit on the way up. That way we know for sure that we're going to make massive amounts of cash, and then we can reinvest and rebalance into other assets that have yet to make a move. And that is how you really build wealth, because you will notice that a lot of these assets that move, they will not all move at the same time. You may have leaders like Cardano and what we're seeing with Solana. Both of those assets are appearing to be leading the way here, but we had some crazy moves like we mentioned in Intel and DENT and a couple other assets. So they will not all pop off at the same time. The people that are in the know, the people that run these markets, that have control of these markets, tend to go into one asset, make crazy gains, and then roll over into the next. If you pull up the chart, you can see that Litecoin went crazy last cycle. And then literally the day that the top hit in Litecoin, that's when XRP started to make its move. This is how compounding wealth is created. This is what you can expect in these markets. So what you guys need to do is just get a basket of assets and rebalance as they start to go parabolic, and you guys can make an absolute killing. What else do we got here? Talked about Coinbase crypto winter. Former SEC chair Jay Clayton joins Fireblocks advisory board. Literally cannot make this stuff up. He goes after XRP literally 3 days before he actually retires over Christmas. Says in joining Fireblocks advisory board, Clayton acknowledged that he shares the company's view that the digital asset custody requires the same level of service as traditional custody, while also striving for better regulatory outcomes. Absolutely crazy. This guy goes and joins these digital currency companies after he drops the hammer on Ripple and XRP. Can't make this stuff up. Also, we have Lynn Alden, who's been in the news for quite a while. She is an investor, and a lot of people actually care what she has to say about just overall markets in general. But she made her 2 cents known the other day about what 2 alternative altcoins, I should say, are going to do very, very well. And the 2 altcoins that she mentioned were Cardano and Solana. It says 2 altcoins that Alden's eyeing at present on Fireplace. Cardano, which noticed its most important token close to all-time highs and grew to be the world's 4th largest cryptocurrency. It's now number 3 actually, and after a 39% improve up to now week. I don't know who the hell wrote this. That sounds awful. Solana rose 70%. So Solana and Cardano could be some of the leaders. If you guys are in those assets, it might be a great idea to start pulling profits as they go and do their 10, 15x runs, because then you can go ahead and, like I said, get that compounding gains by rebalancing your portfolio into other suppressed assets. Also, we got Facebook's David Marcus calls for fair shot at crypto payments. It says he spent the last couple of years building Diem's crypto wallet Novi. So Diem used to be Libra, and it's an interoperable digital wallet designed to integrate with the Diem payment system. It is meant to enable individuals and businesses worldwide to transfer money with ease, revolutionizing the age-old financial payment system once and for all. And what I think he's describing, which is already taking place, is Telcoin. Yeah, they're building this out, but Telcoin's already tackling this issue, and they've already kind of laid the groundwork to go ahead and make that project successful. He does say here at home in America, our payments infrastructure is arguably the worst of any developed country in the world, and an increasingly falling behind, while China is moving with determination and haste to build an infrastructure that will make the digital yuan a challenger to the dollar as the world's reserve currency. So as we've seen time and time again, them comparing the US to China, and China being so much more ahead and advanced than the US is. It's just a way for them to usher in the US digital dollar. But it's also important to note that Telcoin has global ambitions, and they are launching their inaugural digital remittance corridor between Canada and the Philippines. So they've been opening up corridors left and right here, and says that we couldn't have asked for a better launch partner for the Philippines than Gcash, said Paul Nooner, who is the Telcoin CEO. He was actually in Nebraska not too long ago, basically pitching them on bringing Telcoin to Nebraska, which I thought was interesting. It says Telcoin's strategy of direct connections with telecom and mobile money partners will enable us to rapidly scale, keep costs low, and ensure the health and safety of our users, thanks to the contactless nature of transacting on mobile and not a physical shop. It says that they intend to become a household name in the Philippines, putting more money back in the users' pockets when they need it most. So it's important to note, basically Telcoin incentivized all the telecom providers to use Telcoin and then offer it to their customers, which have already gone through KYC because they're on the phone networks, and AML, so anti-money laundering. They're basically incentivizing the telecom providers to go ahead and distribute this technology to their built-in users. So everybody that's got a mobile phone that's using these telecom carriers are now able to use Telcoin. They did open up their Canadian corridor, and they are going to be opening up their Mexican corridor. And then you have the US, which is going to be next in line here. So Telcoin has had one of the most epic runs that we've seen. We talked about Telcoin back in our November newsletter. It's up like, I don't know, 100,000%, something insane. And it says that Telcoin's digital remittance service extends coverage to 15 new markets. And so you can see the list here. Everybody from Bangladesh and Ethiopia down to Indonesia, Kenya, Pakistan, Philippines, El Salvador, Uganda, and a bunch more. So it says opening these initial corridors is an exciting and important foundational moment in Telcoin's journey. We see this as not only about affordable remittances, but as a step toward expanding the financial opportunities of people in these new markets. So basically going after the unbanked population, allowing them to send money back to their families and not take a huge hit on fees like you would with MoneyGram. Very, very important. If you guys are unaware of Telcoin, I highly recommend that you guys look into it. They just raised $10 million, launches next generation of fintech platform. So this was their $10 million in pre-Series A equity financing. If they're starting to raise these rounds, once they get to the Series C round, that is the last round before a company goes public. And while I do not know if Telcoin plans on going public, that is a good indicator that just might be in the cards for them. And also wanted to make a note here that Telcoin is taking aim at the world's largest remittance corridor in Mexico, which we talked about. This was back in April, so I believe they already did launch Mexico. I can't say it with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure they did. And also wanted to note here that Telcoin has announced Ryan Tully, who's the former product lead at Kraken, which is a huge cryptocurrency exchange, as the latest addition to their growing team. That was back July 28th. And there was another piece of news that I found here that I wanted to bring up. Let's see if I can pull it up here. All right, so yeah, here it is. So last week, Telcoin confirmed plans to expand the reach of its corridors to consumers in the U.S., Singapore, and Australia in the coming weeks. So U.S. in the coming weeks, and this was done April 21st. So we're in August now. So it looks like they're a little bit behind here, but I can guarantee you that once they release this U.S. corridor, it's going to be absolutely epic, and the price is going to skyrocket. We can go ahead and we can take a look at Telcoin over here right now. It's been holding really, really nicely. It hit all the way up to 6 cents, basically blasted past its previous all-time high of a penny, went 6x higher, came back, and it did retest 1 penny like 2 or 3 different times now. So once here, back in April, and then July, and actually twice in July. So we'll see if we end up breaking out of this triangle here, or if we actually have to come down a little bit further and retest some previous price points. I can't say, obviously I'm not a wizard, but Telcoin, in my opinion, still looks like an epic buy, even with the crazy price increase that we've seen. Like I said, we mentioned this back in November, literally right before blast off. We got kind of lucky with that, but we did know it was an undervalued asset. And yeah, so 40,000% gains. It looks like it could still have a lot of gas up in the tank if it's going to be used as mobile to mobile transactions for the unbanked. Could easily be anywhere upwards of $1 or so, and you're talking about an asset that's trading at currently just under 2 cents. So I can't say for sure it's going to go to $1, but I would definitely say if it's going to have to be used by the unbanked, it would make sense that it would be somewhere around $1 or 50 cents even. So with that being said, I think that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like what you heard, please get this stuff out there. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, check out the newsletter. We do have a free version and a paid version linked below. If you want to support the channel, it's a great way to do so. We will catch you all in the next video.